Welcome to the Book Club Lounge, the coziest corner on the internet for book lovers everywhere. Here, we unravel the stories that keep you turning pages late at night and leave you thinking long after the last word. I'm your host, Sarah Bridgewater. Grab a coffee, settle in, and let's chat. So, today's episode? It's got love, loss, healing, and those summer flings that, somehow, turn into so much more. Oh, and a fair bit of humor along the way, too. But before we jump in, just a quick spoiler alert for you all. I'm about to dive into the intricate plot of the 2024 romance novel Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If you're halfway through or just haven't gotten around to it yet, hit pause, read, and then come back. Trust me, it's worth it. Now, let's set the scene. Just for the Summer is one of those books that perfectly balances heartbreak and hilarity. It follows two incredibly relatable characters, Justin and Emma, both convinced they're cursed when it comes to love. Everyone they date seems to meet their soulmate right after, just not with them. When they stumble across each other online, they hatch a wild, you could say karmic, plan. It's part summer experiment, part shared misadventure, and maybe, just maybe, it turns into so much more. If today's episode gets you hooked or curious to know more about Abby Jimenez, don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a little review, it means the world, and check out the affiliate link in our show notes. You can grab your own copy of Just for the Summer or explore Abby's other delightful books. Let's talk about how things come together for Emma and Justin. So, imagine scrolling through Reddit and stumbling on a post that perfectly echoes your own bad luck in love. That's how our two protagonists meet, Emma and Justin, united by what they call their curses. Honestly, it's hard not to laugh at the sheer absurdity of it. Everyone they date, apparently, goes on to find their true soulmate quicker than you can say, "It's not you, it's me." Now they decide to do something, unconventional about it, right? They make a pact and agree to date each other. No strings attached, no expectations, just for the summer. It's kind of a rom-com blueprint, but what sets it apart is how it begins. On a Reddit thread of all places. I mean, timing truly does make or break things, doesn't it? At first, it's all laughs and lighthearted banter. You know, Justin's easygoing charm plays off Emma's quick wit. They treat their relationship more like a social experiment than anything serious. But here's where Abby Jimenez really shines. Even in the midst of the humor, there's this steady undercurrent of vulnerability. You see these little cracks. Emma starting to lower her guard, Justin showing just how deeply he cares, even when he's not saying much outright. And Justin, we can't not talk about Justin. He's straightforward, grounded, and yet, there's so much understated depth to him. I mean, the guy has half a village relying on him, and still, he opens up enough to make space for Emma, piece by piece. He's not flashy, but he's present. And Emma? She's like this open book with torn pages. Fun, fiercely independent. But as you read on, you start noticing the fears etched between the lines. Beautifully layered, that's what they are. There's this one line that really epitomizes their connection. Justin says, "If I could bottle this feeling, I'd live off it forever." Romantic, yes, but also just so telling of how rare and fragile moments of true vulnerability can be. It's almost like they're each other's antidote, without fully knowing it yet. You know, it's this emotional tug-of-war that elevates Just for the Summer beyond your typical rom-com. Suddenly, it's not just about breaking a so-called curse. It's about the fear of letting someone close enough to truly know you, flaws and all. And from the way Justin's family pulls Emma in, it's clear. Her narrative isn't just about romance. It's about finding her footing in a world that hasn't always been kind to her. Little cracks, as I said, but they start to show, and that's where the story hooks you. Now here's where the story unveils layers we didn't quite see coming. We start to learn more about Emma's past, a history of being let down by the very people who were supposed to hold her up. She talks about her childhood, the hurt of parental neglect, and it's clear how those experiences have left her with this quiet fear of staying in one place for too long. I mean, wouldn't you be scared to settle if stability always felt like a broken promise? The weight of her past doesn't just reveal itself in bursts. It's like a slow untangling of a story she didn't think anyone would care to know. And this is where Abby Jimenez brilliantly weaves in threads from another of her novels, Yours Truly. Emma shares how she has a half-brother she's never met. It's a passing remark at first, but you can tell meeting him isn't just about family baggage. It's about confronting pieces of herself that she's tried to keep buried. And then there's Justin. What I love is how he approaches Emma's guardedness. It's not with force, you know? It's with patience, respect, and even quiet acceptance. There's this beautiful scene, this one stood out, where Justin's dog, Hank, unexpectedly becomes a mirror to Emma's emotions. I mean, it's incredible how much a dog can sense, isn't it? Hank has this instinct for picking up on Emma's anxiety, her hesitation. And you hear about this very tender moment where she realizes, through him, how much she's still holding back. It's the kind of moment that doesn't need many words but speaks volumes about rebuilding trust, even in the smallest ways. But let's not forget they made this whole pact for no strings, no serious commitments. So, when Emma starts pulling away, it's gut-wrenching, especially for Justin, who's already given so much of himself. The thing that gets me, though, is the way he handles it. He doesn't push, doesn't demand answers. Instead, he lets her have the space she asks for, even when it's obvious how much it hurts him. He's not trying to fix Emma, but you can see clear as day. He wants to be the safe place she can land when she's ready. You know, there's this part of the book, let me see if I can remember it exactly, where Justin tells her, sometimes loving someone means letting them take their time to grow. It's such a striking sentiment because really, isn't that what love should be? Giving someone room, even when it means stepping aside for a while? I think that's what makes Just for the Summer so special. It's honest about how messy love can get, how growth doesn't always happen side by side, but still doesn't mean the connection is any less meaningful. And for Emma, it's about moving beyond the transient life she's clung to, learning that permanence doesn't always have to equal pain. So, let's talk about love and family, the ones we choose and the ones we rediscover along the way. At this point in Just for the Summer, Emma takes a bold step. She reconnects with her long-lost brother, someone she's only ever known in theory, not reality. And here's what moved me. This isn't about instant bonding or a dramatic Hollywood reunion. It's about building a bridge, slowly and carefully, between two people who share a history but have lived entirely separate lives. Her brother's approach? Compassionate, steady, and without expectation. He doesn't try to overwhelm Emma with the past or guilt her into a relationship. Instead, he simply shows up, present and willing, which is, in itself, so powerful. You feel Emma's hesitation soften, little by little, and that's what makes this subplot so impactful. It's less about the grand gestures and more about what these moments symbolize, the possibility of healing through connection. What I think Abby Jimenez does so well here is weave Emma's family ties into the larger story of her romance with Justin. Remember that one quote in the book? "You weren't my lucky charm. You were my safe place." It's such a striking revelation. It's also the moment where Emma finally realizes that love, whether it's romantic or familial, should feel anchoring, not something you're constantly bracing yourself against. That recognition shifts everything for her. Oh, and I can't skip over this scene. Picture this. Emma returns to the little island where it all began, not as a visitor this time, but as someone who's ready to belong. This moment with Justin, where they're surrounded by the whole friend group, is heartbreakingly low-key, yet so rich in meaning. They don't need a big, dramatic declaration. Instead, it's a quiet confession, one that cuts through all the doubts and walls. It's real, raw, and deeply human. Honestly, I felt like I was sitting right there with them, hearing every word. There's a reason this part of the book resonates so much, especially with readers who've experienced fractured families of their own. It's that universal longing to find someone, someplace, where you truly feel at home without conditions or judgments. And in this chapter, Emma begins to realize that maybe, just maybe, home isn't a place at all. It's the people who make you feel seen and safe and loved exactly as you are. One of the most enduring themes in Just for the Summer is the concept of found family. For Emma, whose biological connections left her yearning for stability, the people she chooses, Justin, his siblings, her best friend Maddie, become her anchor. You know, it's such a relatable idea, isn't it? That sometimes the family we build can feel more like home than the one we're born into. And then there's this idea of emotional safety in relationships. How love, instead of being chaotic and consuming, can actually be soft and steady. Abby Jimenez captures that so beautifully here. Justin and Emma's connection isn't about grand, sweeping gestures or constant drama. It's about showing up every single day in all the million little ways that matter. Sort of like a love that works like glue, quietly keeping the cracks from getting bigger, you know? But perhaps Emma's most significant journey is letting herself be loved. That's the crux of it, isn't it? Learning to truly believe that you're worthy. Not just of being cared for, but of being chosen. Not for a summer, not because of a pact, but simply because you matter. This is what Emma's story leaves us with. The ability to move past scars, to let someone in, and to trust that maybe this time, love is here to stay. Of course, Jimenez weaves this emotional depth with her signature humor. The dialogue? Sharply funny. The side characters? Oh, they bring in their fair share of laugh-out-loud moments. At no point does the novel feel bogged down by its heavier themes. It balances the light and dark with such ease, which is why readers gravitate to Jimenez's work time and time again. And speaking of Abby Jimenez, she's not just a brilliant storyteller. Did you know she's a former Cupcake Wars champion? I think that mix of sweetness, literally and emotionally, comes through in her books. Whether it's tackling mental health, family trauma, or the unpredictability of love, her characters are always layered, lovable, and deeply human. That's her magic. And there we have it. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, a novel that starts with a playful premise but dives deeply into love, trauma, and the fragile art of healing. What I adore most about this book is its balance. It walks that fine line between laugh-out-loud humor and those quieter, gut-punch moments of vulnerability. It's rare, you know, to find a romance that makes you smile, tear up, and reflect all at once. If there's one takeaway, it's this. Love isn't about grand performances. It's found in the quiet, steady moments, in the small ways people show up for each other. Like Emma discovering that stability doesn't have to be a scary, unattainable dream. Or Justin proving that real love isn't about fixing someone, but waiting for them to grow at their own pace. Both lessons remind us that love should feel like home. And Abby Jimenez? She captures that beautifully. I'll say this. Whether you're reading it on a beach somewhere or curled up under a blanket, this is one of those stories that sticks with you long after you've reached the final page. It's witty and warm, but it's also a little spark of hope for anyone who's ever felt like love just might not be in the cards for them. And that's a wrap, friends. If you haven't yet picked up the book, you'll find our affiliate link in the show notes. It's a small way to support this podcast and keep these conversations going. Don't forget to hit follow or leave us a little rating. It truly does make my day to hear your thoughts. So, until next time, keep reading, keep loving, and keep seeking those stories that remind us all of what it means to truly connect. Thanks for joining me here at the Book Club Lounge. Take care, everyone.